remake the world as a digital simulation, really, to digitally virtualize, to steal life. It is an anti-life program. It's moving from carbon-based life to silicon-based life, to a digital twin of the world that they can control, that is disconnected from spirit. And
I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. In the bright glow of the dawn, I see myself clearly, bringing in a new day. The old way of doing things is done. I don't care what you say. Monsters don't sleep under your bed. They sleep inside your head. And if you haven't done the shadow work, you're left behind is where you stay. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street. We gotta protect plus homeschool. Our babies is a must. They not just no moms, but also no pops. Ebola, worshiping pedophiles. Wanna feed our children's spirits to robots. Turn all of us from carbon-based to silicone-based. Should be where the shit show stops. Get back to doing for ourselves. Water system, irrigation, and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. I'm saying I'm not some master teacher. No, am I some pastor or preacher? Was released from prison with this passion to speak up. After doing 25 years in the beast cuffs. Realize they tried to teach us spiritual, mental, physical diet. They tried to feed us the fire of our ancestors resides in each of us. With that, I'm inspired to turn this heat up. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to war with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets.
we're really approaching almost like it's a Frankenstein moment. And they're framing it to us as, innovation, right? Where we should all be so excited that this is happening. And, I equate it to like the Golem bringing in like these robots. They would like to feed our life force to learn us in every tiny detail, not to empower us, but to actually transform us into a robotic simulation that is under their full control.
Nah, bro. Come on. You almost there, bro. Almost there. Survive. What's up?
I do it dies for Chi-Town. Who am I but Chi-Town? You young fool, I'm too fly to just slide down. Blue sky but high ground. A crown slash helmet. So my aircraft still spit. Can't be tied down or even seatbelted. I look down, I see green like a Celtic. My heat pulverized, the cheese is melted. The remnants of cash money, I dispelled it. You did the fusions in my eyes, I beheld it. The finger fucked that caused my hand, I dealt it. Felt the vibrate from the gut of my pelvic. The bust off on some ice and some velvet shit. So radiant, I keep a dark room well lit. Cause you little goofies are well quick. Body for real monkeys, velvet. Body you not for Mars, use a female's clip. As a kid, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a knife. I know I can spit my flows and shit to a fly zone. Haters wanna crucify a real man. I still stand with the still in hand, but we're Hiller man. It's not Cypress Hill. I'm Turtle shit. I'm one tough cookie. I don't follow. I set standards. Catch me, you gon' have to do more to scamper. Need more to scanners. I'm off the radar. I am as you goofies play God. Some worship the Christ, others pray to Allah. Chase a high, drink paper opera. You stagnated, well I straight evolve. At a rate, I'm dated space AC, y'all. Buster stuck in the cage. face off. After the shape the state is a fake, a fraud. Battlestar intergalactic, my mindset. Perfect comes from practice, so I rhyme best. I excel like I'm climbing the step. You got a lot to learn.
Still can't get all the pain off, man.
I am a threat. My measurement width, lift, height, and depth. I'm just piloting up. Flying a jet, spray the adversary. Marshall Chrono.
I'm gonna tell you all, I'm gonna put it up on here, but I gotta get the information. I didn't ask him yet. I'm gonna ask him later, but if you need some painting done and you're not gonna come here and want to build on, like, you know, anyway, regardless of what we're doing, if you need painting done, if you own a business, let's say you own a business or something, yo, he's the one to go to. I'm serious, y'all. I'm like a person that has a contract, close it out, do what you got to do, and keep the contracts rolling. The thing is to make sure that people are on par. Like me, I love painting. A lot of people, like I said, Big Joe, a lot of them remember me working with this tall brother. His name was James Sue, who painted all the houses in Montclair in certain parts, like the upper and everything. And I used to be out there every week. I would have one house, 2 months, and not just painting the house by myself. I would also assist on the block if there was like people who are like, we did 2 homes where a woman was pregnant and the husband wanted to create a day room or a baby room, one or the other, right? We had to go in there and we literally would gut, clean up, dump, make sure it's all done, and then get back to painting. So it wasn't like I told you, when I painted the whole house, I was paid by a weekly salary. And some of y'all would be like, you made that kind of, well, it was me alone doing the scaffolding, the 3-story ladder, and because I could lay 3 squares in an hour, that's $75 for laying tiles. I had worked for like 2.5 months, and my knees and back, and they knew it. But I was always, in my 40s, I was like, nah, I got it. And I'd take one, something like carry 2 of them. If you know them tiles, how heavy those are, going up to the very roof. We're talking about a ladder, 1st floor, 2nd floor, roof, with these tiles. If so, you know what I'm talking about. With my tool belt, the nail gun's already up there, but I never used a nail gun. I used to drive. So if you could drive, and then with 3 squares, all right, look it up, y'all, and you can do 3 squares, three packages in an hour. And I already knew the size of the roof, so I would literally, on the first day, like if I was roofing and if I was going to be doing the whole roof, other than putting the planks and everything, depending on how steep, I forget the angle, but usually at about 30 up, I didn't need them. But if it went here, then I had to put the planks. Anyway, while I was painting, every week I would $2,500. And if I would help gutting and preparing a room, and if they needed me to come back and sheetrock, that was an extra $30. So I would never share it with my family because they were nutcases. Madly, I adore them with my heart. They're still nutcases. They're stubborn and they think it's natural. That's not our family. I know our family's history, even as good, if not better, than my uncles and aunts, because I talked to my uncle, Gary, the oldest one, and he's like, how you know that? I remembered I remember breastfeeding. I could tell my mother right now things that she'd be like, trust me, okay? And trust me with this. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of this. A lot of people don't understand when a person takes their work literally, and he's been a journeyman. Now, he's been doing this for 25 years. I didn't ask him how long he's been a journeyman, but I would partake that it's the length of. And he's a phenomenal sprayer. He's got it down to a T. When you do anything that long, and if you're still in it, that means what's going on. You've accomplished something. And if you have a business or something like that, I believe I don't know if he do homes and stuff. I never talked to him about that, but I know he knows how. Obviously, he would be the one to go to. So I'll get whatever information I can. If you know somebody, you got a cousin, this, that, and the other, store looks a little ran down, they could use painting, and you're within the Phoenix or, those areas, Tucson or whatever, I think. Like I said, I'll find out first, and then I'll put the information up. But I'm just talking about it. He's a good dude. I'm getting my grip down. Even though with tendonitis and all that other stuff, y'all see a lot of Navy personnel have tendonitis, and they want to deny that. But the reality is, majority of us got it. But he is the one to go to, Omek. All right. But let's go ahead and play a little more music, let more people come in, and we'll get it going.
Looks like Ray Bradbury, I'm a thorough guy, goddammit. Sebastian Capero of a fly bandit, Mohawk aviators, aerodynamics, and it's like I'm an arrow in precise transit. A Christmas Carol lies what your fans get. Your world's in perils what I transmit as a transcript, or I just spit it off the top. It's either shit or get off the pot. This shit's hot.
T, you see how they sprayed literally to cover this whole area?
Yeah.
Ain't no cloud. It's nothing but they've been spraying since last night. I went to the bathroom, I think around like 3:30, 3:40. And I've been up pretty much since then. I think I fell asleep for another 45 minutes. But I saw the dispersal where you can see the, how do you say it? I don't call them stars. But you know what they call them. Anyway, I see all the little dots up there, right? And I'm looking at these things flying and this big white stuff coming out the back of them. We're not talking about we're not talking about what you call trails that comes from off the plains, not the natural which dissipates because it's contrails. Yeah, well, we're not talking about that. And I should know. I worked on Jessel forever. We're talking about aerosol spraying, which is not even a theory or a myth anymore. They're talking about all over the place, and it's just a bunch of big crap. Because we're going to get into some of that, not the aerosol spraying, but we're going to talk about the hypocrisy, the ideologies, and the perversions that are pervasive that allows this to happen based on one major group's ignorance and the utter sublime. And this is not everybody, but this is the majority of my pale skin brothers and sisters. And if you can't take a gut punch for the correlation of better, for the, how you say it, being more responsible. Sometimes we have to clean up our backyard. And right now, that's why the Zionists have been putting it out. If they turn on the Jews, to them, the Jews, they know they're frauds. They don't care about the Zionists. They already got their little army cross over there locking up and beating up fake rabbis and Orthodox Jews. And they got their little Zionist punks who are they told they're going to live 300 years, who can have sex with little boys and girls, spitting on Christians, tourists from Germany, France, Spain. America got a habit of fighting back, and you got a lot of so-called pale-skinned Americans over there, but Zionists are a little different. And you can see everything that's going on. Yet, we're going to discuss a few things not too long, because we're about to go out on Veterans Day and enjoy a free meal. And I'm about to steak out, bro. I'm about to get Como on some damn London broil or something. Anyway, and vegetables. Anyway, I just hope y'all bear with me. It's a little longer. Let a few more people. Hey, Marcus. Dev, I got you. Amaru Jaguar. What's up, beloved? Alician. It's good to have y'all in here, beloveds. All the tribe. Bring them all in. Anyway, let's play a little more music and then we'll get into it. Y'all see the time?
Get his own
Told you, I got a
Everybody
preference.
wants to get his own crew rich, and then they want the other little people to never get a piece of the pie. I don't want to go for the cracker. I go for you niggas that think that y'all big too. I understand this. That's why you niggas and crackers can't stand me. You niggas that know that I know you can't do nothing if you're broke.
You ain't got no
Listen to me, young people and old people too. Mostly black people. I'm talking to you.
I get some more, man.
Yeah, we got about some, but the last one.
Yeah. We'll just get like 20. That'll hold us.
Y'all really thought that I was done with
I
y'all.
know, because how much money?
Nah,
Remember it went up?
I'm really down on y'all. Fellas up.
You hear that, T?
We not going back and forth.
They made it $8 now with the key line. We gotta grow our own, but we got to see. We gotta grow our own. We gotta start germinating. We get that in the ground. We start growing key lines. We transform out here, they'll grow. They'll grow. You know what I mean?
We want our shit back.
Yeah, we gotta grow our own.
Enough with the chit chat. I see through the side ops. Looking past the shine spot. Third eye gang shit flops. I don't eat pork, but I will fry
Man,
cops. For foes, my heart's
global
an icebox of
hatchet's
playing
getting
down
mixed.
ops.
Been in the West.
I got
gotta
it
bring
strong
this
on
bad
you
boy.
The
Hey,
screw is
Sharp.
the rules. Some of
I
our
gotta find
folks
my
are
ceramic
still
sharpener, man.
yeah, and blind to the fact that we gon' have this real show. Warrior spirits inside me. That's where it's real from. The world's a stage, page after page, script is played out. They keep us engaged, placate or rage. This is played out. Rules of a dying society should been disobeyed out. Forehead and knees off the floor should have been prayed out. The draft is on, COVID's no issue. Could've blown it in tissue. Now it's control who blows the whistle to who holds the pistol. The debacle's about who owes who the fiscal. Disregard the aboriginal issue. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bound or wet. Here's a big fat yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau, mau, big Mac. But the earth is fool is known by his speech. Yet if I don't speak, I suffer defeat. I'm other than we, a sucker or me. Stand on 2 feet, one turn the other cheek. The wise man known by his silence, mostly disguised compliance. Silence by guidance from conspiring to novice. Other aspirants of violence, terrorists of fire. Trying the giants to hide, I'm trying to fight. In environments of micros, I'm hearing the sirens. Ring in my ear, they've got indictments. These pedophiles, squares, groupies, and hyping. Alignments, the assignment. I'm not the wisest, I'm non-client. My refinement and confinement, the requirements for this climate. Y'all push all the paperwork, or y'all can protest, but they can't escape this work. I vow to progress, don't duck, no wreck. Drill music for real. My soul they don't possess. Real foolish with no deal. Ain't playing with none of them. It's personal, know what the business is. Big monsters come full circle, so vacate your premises. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is on the way, here's a big thing. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Now, or big bang. Whether earth is round or flat, we want our shit back. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is on the way, here's a big fat. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Now, big bang. Whether earth is round or flat, we want our shit back. Akichiwa. In the spirit of the great matriarch, all praises is due to the Most High. Honor and respect to all our ancestors, the elders, the youth, bro star gods and sister goddesses, Americans. They say a soldier never knows his strength unless he has a foe. Well, I came to realize that my most greatest opponent is me. And in the spirit of making my enemy's enemy my friend, I decided to make me my greatest ally. Because each situation calls for it. You dig? Shot my first itchy like an 82. Hot, yeah, Ilya kissed me like how a lady do. Blaze a full fellatio. The ratio is convagio through this crazy flow. Truth is, I've been gone for a long time to go through what I've gone through. You need a strong mind, like seeing tone spine poked up for the wrong shine. Or when bone wine, yoked up out that phone line. Wake me from the stupor of this ugly life. Can't wait to make your lupus for my lovely wife. How could I let you get away like the spinners? Mention me today amongst the winners. Through sneer, smile, watch me steer the crowd. Here and now, watch me clear the cloud. Keep my head above, rub water your waters. Give shit hostile options or cordial orders. We need situation ethics in this day and time. Not in the sense of as if bad into good or good into bad, turning everything backwards. But simply because in every situation you're faced with, you need ethics, codes, principles, morals, methods in order to navigate through this madness. That shit.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I was waiting for the 20-minute mark, but the book that I'm gonna have look at, you see it right there. This is a pretty heavy book. Let's go over here and let me see if I can pull it up and show you the actual book. It should be on the cover. Okay, so we don't need to go back there. Let's go all the way to I'm gonna hold it up. We're in the shade, so hopefully you can see it a little better. Don't need. Okay, so this. Let me get this. I'm on the Internet Archives. Do I have the PDF downloaded? I actually paid for it. I ordered the book a year ago, never got it. A little over a year ago, never got it. So I've got some fiat in Amazon because I pay with the 14, which called a month, that I can use for books. I'm looking at pretty expensive books because I think the library needs to be extensive with real information. Some of these books are well over $100 and $200, and I'm not going to sit here and give you all false libations and stuff. If need be, when we get everything we need, I'll just purchase a $200, $300 book. whether you assist or not. And I appreciate it, though. So this is Wilmington's Live, the murderous coup of 1898 and the rise of white supremacy. There was no such thing as white supremacy. We weren't slaves in the 16, 14, 1500s, all blatant lies created by the same bastards you see right now. And I have no, let me do this for you, okay? Before I get started, because we know we have a lot of cotton candy haired individuals hired to be contract to probably nurture and lies as you see today. And just like you see the fake Jews over there murderously killing people, a lot of them, those individuals over there call themselves Jews, they are a hyperborea of many mixed nationalities, not races, not ethnicities, not all the fake shit. The only one ethnicity that stands outside of all of them is Negro. I don't give a damn what you say. I can sit here and go through 400 books. I can go to Points, Library of Congress, and these fake ass congressmen, y'all keep calling congressmen, mayors, and execs and presidents leaders. That's the white dilemma and problem. They are not your leader. I'm going to break down as to why and give you a rational reason based on real historical facts and relevant to what my great uncles Tandy and C expressed as far as what they knew was to come, and the fear and the tears of making everyone be silent. Fear is a mother, even when you got warriors of old. And I'm talking about the most fiercest and ferocious. Like I said, every man in my family back then had murdered a plethora, y'all. And it was not based on feelings or emotions, and a plethora of our own who were turncoats, just as you see today. It doesn't matter who you think they are, Moors, because you get all these people that get into competitions and all this hypocrisy and foolishness. We're going to read a little something, and then we can allow you to read it yourself. You can purchase the book if you choose, and there's a plethora of others. And some of you have listened to me when I've been reading and went back and watched, and I appreciate you, watch videos, and then I monetize all the older videos. I'm just leaving them be. And you could start putting pieces together, even as far as, I know a lot of people are adopted, but even there, as far as speaking with the grandparents that may still be alive, who hold some angst, some anger and rage, and they don't even know why, to bring forth the truth and bury the lie, because you can't hide the hatchet. You can't bury it after you done chopped the tree down, and forget the fake George Washington, which is a Negro, all right? And we're just going to go over this because the whitewashing started in the 1900s. Oh, it was it was a major part. We're talking about here. Now in Germany and all those places, you can go from the 2nd all the way up to the 6th century, which would be the 1600s. Okay? And then that little where it got missing, and all of a sudden 1,000 years came out of nowhere. Okay? When they conquered the Isles of Anu, when they conquered the Cathay, which was another name for that land, it was all Tartary, the greater, no lesser, but this was Asia Superior, all right? Egypt. Bottom line, it doesn't matter where anybody feels and how they think about anything. In order for you to be sucked up into the lie and put into a perverse nature, you had to be groomed and conditioned. Like I asked this one Native American, I says, you really think that with the history of the world coming out full-fledged, that many people spoke many languages, that they had a consummated relationship between you, a foreigner. There was no Bering Strait. It's 55 miles, and back then we were great seafarers going back thousands of years. Anybody could sail over 55 nautical miles on an ocean. Anyone. Fishermen do it all damn day and all the time, going back in histories, and our people had 30 to 40-foot canoes and grand ships, not made out of just wood and all that, but iron, steel, and the whole line. They had to hide that. In order to do that, that's where you have the Cabbage Patch Babies and orphans, whether from this land or elsewhere. Okay? Don't take it onto yourselves. Well, I know I've always been here. You have no idea. They had to subjugate you, and they had to nurture you, just like I told you when I went to this little Jewish party. My uncle took me there in Brooklyn. And when he told them who I was, they, okay. They didn't say nothing. Regardless of my skin tone, with some Arab Jews there. And I watched how they had these little kids fighting over this cake. They're all sitting there with the little black hats and all, took that off with their little, and they would put the cake and the food down, and they would literally grab it with their hand as much as they can, laughing. That's why it was important for me to teach you about the Konitre, right? That you need to know that they take an oath, that to not honor any oath they take with any of you. because to them, you are stupid. Now the problem with them, the Zionists looks at them and look at those people calling themselves Jews, and they go, they're pretty stupid too, but we will continue to use them. Y'all don't know the conspiratory and the disease of the manipulation of the mind, right? You think you know, right? So bastard, an unpleasant or despicable person. He lied to me. The despicable person, bastard. He lied to me. The unpleasantry of the lie, the bastard. That's all the word. Supposedly, that's what it means. And you can go down, you can get into the adjectives and all that other crap as far as a thing no longer is pure or original form, debased. Bastard doesn't mean nothing. I can sit here and say debased, liar, blah, blah. We can conceptualize all day. The bastards. Okay? So don't be one here. Was that helpful? Now, here is the book. Okay? And all of its glory. And you can order it. I think it's $16 to $26, depending on where you get it from. You know me, I got a few places that I used to get stuff from, but I don't like the 1 or 2 month stuff, so I don't even mess with them. What is going on here? Oh, the internet's, even though I don't need internet, I'm about to take the internet off. Oh, this is ridiculous. Well, then again, Sophia is retarded. The machine's got about 5 new names based on these little fake technicians of stupidity, no matter what land they come from. Okay? It is what it is, right? Hold on. I gotta do this right quick. What they press. And the reason why I'm sharing the information, because I don't have to always read it. I prefer to, because I know how to break certain things down. Yet I know that you can get it and you can look at it and be like, holy Toledo. So we don't need that. Wilming's, Jesus. Yeah, this is the little goofy computer. It's so broken and retarded. It can't help itself. Just waiting for everything to load up, guys. All right, like I said. So, Internet Archives, Wilmington's Lie, The Murderous Coup of 1898 and the Rise of White Supremacy. So, that is the book if you want to purchase it, okay? And if you don't have that to be able to purchase, go ahead and pull it up on Internet Archives, okay? So, what I want to read to you, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my goodness. Well, this is my own, for those who believe they're white and all that other stupidity stuff. This is the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, obviously, because if they don't put it in school, you don't know no better. So, let's go over here. White Man's Country, Wilmington, North Carolina, November 10th, 1898. Now, we know it's not. The killers came by streetcar. Their boots struck the packed clay earth like muffled drum beats as they bounded from the cars and began to patrol the wide dirt roads. The men scanned the sidewalks and alleyways. Now, these people weren't born here, all right, for targets. They wore red calico shirts or short red jackets over white butterfly collars. They were working men with calloused hands and sunburned faces beneath their wide brim hairs. These are the Cabbage Patch children who were another branch, some of them, and some came off the boats, as you know what's going on at Ellis Islands, Starfort, once upon a time. Each one carried, many of them had tucked their trousers into their boots, tops and tied cartridge belts around their waists. A few wore neckties. Each one carried a gun. Throughout that summer and autumn, now you know how long this is after the so-called Civil War, right? 1860 what? 5? Was that it? Civil War, 1865.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are, 1898. Things had to be laid down. There were still our Indian fights. If you study fighting this New Spain and fighting the New French and fighting the new, all these individuals, these Gujars who knew how to make the changes. That's why you have 1,000 years added, where they rape children, make new babies, and they nurture them in their own fashion. Let's make them after our own Pay attention. That's why a lot of so-called white folks should really be angry and fed up with all this. But no, always looking for the easy way out. Throughout that, excuse me, throughout that summer and autumn, white men had been buying shotguns, six-shot pistols, and repeating rifles at hardware stores in the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina, set in the low Cape Fear country along the state's jagged coast. It was 1898. And you know how goofy these monkeys are behind this platform? So y'all saw the thing that I put up with Trump's face on it. They wanted to say limited it. Yet it wasn't nothing bad or anything foul. This shows you how weak they are. And trust me when I say they're weak, you better listen to me. Okay? Had vowed, anyway, Cape Fear country along the state's jagged coast. It was 1898, a tumultuous midterm election year. White planners and business leaders had vowed to remove the city's multiracial government and black public officials by the ballot or the bullet, or both, because y'all didn't run shit here. I'm just telling you the truth. Few white men intended to navigate election week that November without a firearm within easy reach. There was concern among whites in Wilmington, where they were outnumbered by blacks, not Native Americans or any goddamn body else. There were no Mexicans and this, that, and the other, nobody. It was indigenous to aboriginals and these newcomers. That stores would run. Now we had our pale-skinned brothers and relatives here, man. That's reality. That's why they were the first ones lynched. They wouldn't give up names, families, anything. And that's why well over 500 were first lynched before they even started with our people. Anyway, our both. Few white men intended to navigate election week that November without a firearm with easy reach. There was concern among whites in Wilmington, where they were outnumbered by blacks, that stores would run dry on guns and that suppliers in the rest of the state and in nearby South Carolina would be unable to meet the demand. Gun sales soared. J.W. Murchison, who opened a hardware store in downtown Wilmington, sold 125 rifles in October and early November. Well, that's why they put themselves there, because we ran all the stores. They had to purchase stores and set up their plans. So anyway, 125 rifles in October and early November alone, and that was 4 or 5 times his normal sales. These were Colt and Winchester, get out of here, repeating rifles capable of firing up to 16 rounds in rapid succession. Now, Murchison also said more than 200 pistols during the same period and nearly 50 shotguns. Owen F. Love, a smaller hardware dealer, sold 59 guns. Yes, it was a brother. All types during October and early November, but we were pleasant people. This is what the Zionist dumbasses do, right? You're at peace. You're not at war. Everything's fine. There's no such thing as race and all this made-up identity stuff. Didn't exist. Crayon colors, but you see in this letter, it has to point out who's who by the characters of the narratives of you understand or understand now. They did not sell, well, anyway, in early November, Murchison and Love were, well, the Love was a proper white man. Proper white men. Do you know what proper white men means? You want me to look it up? Doesn't necessarily mean the skin was pale. But anyway, which meant they sold firearms only to other white men and primarily to those who were supporters of the white supremacist Democratic Party. They did not sell to blacks. When pressed on the subject later, Owen Love responded, "I had no objection to selling to any respectable man, white or colored, but I would refuse to sell cartridges, pistols, or guns to any disreputable Negro." Years later, one of the city's leading white supremacists wrote, "It is doubtful if there ever was a community in the United States that had as many lethal weapons per capita as in Wilmington at that time. This was only a slight exaggeration among the city's whites. There were almost as many guns as men, women, and children. Wilmington, with a population of 20,000, was the largest city in North Carolina, but the demand for weapons had exhausted the supplies of all the gun merchants in town. They telegraphed emergency orders to the dealers in Richmond and Baltimore, who loaded Richmond, Virginia, and Baltimore. Baltimore, which called North. Oh, damn. Anyway, mine's elsewhere. Who loaded guns and bullets onto railroad carts headed south. For months, whites had been railing against what they call Negro rule. So somebody want something about George Washington and all that bullshit again? Mark Hamilton, now they're telling you that he was black. I've already proved by showing veterans of mine, we could call a whole lot of people, Olston, taking them to these places, these trailer parks, with people that look like them, blonde and blue eyes, and had them go and get their certificates of life with their little hand and footprints. And they were like, it says Negro and black. I was like, there you go. No one drop blood rule, all that nonsense. Let me carry on. Though black men held only a small fraction of elected and appointed positions in the city and the state, white politicians and newspapers warned that if blacks continued to vote and hold office, black men would feel empowered to seize white jobs, dominate the courts, and rape white women. Nigger lawyers are sassing white men in courts. Nigger root doctors are crowding white physicians out of businesses, complained Colonel Alfred Moore Waddell, a former Confederate officer who led the white gunmen as they raced through the streets on the morning of the November 10th in 1898. A field representative of the American Baptist Publication Society called Wilmington the freest town for a Negro in this country. 3 of the city's 10 aldermen were black, as were 10 of 26 city policemen. There were black health inspectors, a black superintendent of streets, and far too many for white sensitivities. Black postmasters and magistrates. White men could be arrested by black policemen. In some cases were even obligated to appear before a black magistrate in court. Black merchants sold goods from, we know that all the black and white nonsense, the hijack, the declaration of what they utilized were in Russia, the Bolsheviks, which was socialism, which was fascism, which was socialism, which was nothing but fascism, which was based on Marxism. Same thing they did in Germany. Hitler was right on when he did what he did. In Spain, the very thing they did right over there, the very same thing they did when they put their fake emperor in Mexico, which that's not even the original damn name. Don't get me with the Toltec shit, all right? And everywhere else down all throughout Central and South America, whether it be Portuguese, fake Spaniards, all the new Gajars who put themselves in position, once using babies and others, and those in nefarious ways, to bring forth and make them war against all the aborigines all around. That's why I told you 2 of my German uncles were originally from here, but we would have found Germany just like we found Ireland, Scotland, and all those places. Whether you believe it or not, I don't care. It's in the records. And that's why they're in a rush right now to have wars, and if not, destroy everything. Because y'all starting to learn the truth. Let me go on. Anyway, carry keys to lock up infuriated whites. Now, the country treasurer was a black man who distributed pay to county employees, forcing whites to accept money from black hands. In 1891, President Benjamin Harrison had appointed a black man, John C. Dancy, as federal customs collector for the port of Wilmington, and Dancy had replaced the white supremacist Democrat. And why? Because we wouldn't betray the country like these little last monkeys and all these little politicians you have now who don't give a damn about you. Hell, half of them don't even know real history. They know the fake history, so they're obliged to stand with the fake history, with the fake Zionists and the fake Jews, because Hollywood painted the narrative, and they all have succumbed to it. Anyway, a black man, John C. Dancy, is a federal customs collector for the port of Wilmington. Dancy had replaced the white supremacist Democrat, and he drew an astonishing federal salary, $4,000 a year, or $1,000 more than the governor earned. Check that out. Now, a white newspaper editor ridiculed Dancy as symbol of the custom house. Now, what they're not going to tell you is these people they're calling white, and this is what he did intentionally in order to get this published out there, was a Jew. A Zionist, excuse me, we were the first printers and everything else. I already told you who created this and invented that. I know it's hard for you, even a typewriter. And yet, they lied and got y'all believing in the lies that you exist. And you worthless Negroes who follow along, all right? So share that with your family if they're sitting there having a hard time congregating, getting this together. Anyway, ridiculed Dancy as a symbol of the custom house. Anyway, black businessmen pooled their money to form 2 small banks that loaned cash to black starting small businesses. Several black professionals ran small law firms and doctor's offices, serving clients and patients of their own race. A black alderman from Raleigh, North Carolina, my family's from. They're not black. They were all Aboriginal, original people. The capital, the Negro is not African. And which, regardless of what you, and for you religious motherfuckers, it seems like we got a whole lot of white Christians who don't know how to read the Bible. And the dumb Negroes who will sell their own people out because they bought into the lies based on a bastard who they let die in an abandoned apartment in Europe at 40 years old or 43 years old, and y'all call him, with this Umar Goofy following, right? They call him what? And then the other one out of Ethiopia ran over here, and yet our pilots went over there to help Ethiopia fight back Italy. Like, make it make sense, right? So you let Marcus Garvey and Haile Selassie, working for the OSS, come over here in the Mossad before its existence, and come over here and defibrillate and change your narrative and bring more fear when our people were still fighting? Okay, let me carry on. There can't nobody can debate me. They can't fact check me on shit. Trust me. No one can. Had built this finally appointed homes. Anyway, black aldermen from Raleigh, the capital, noted with some surprise that certain black men in Wilmington had built finely appointed homes with lace curtains, plush carpets, pianos, and even, he claimed, servants. The city's thriving population of black professionals contradicted the white portrayal of Wilmington's blacks as poor, ignorant, and illiterate. The lie the Zionists always use. You see what they're saying about the Palestinians, right? And they're whooping their ass back. In fact, Wilmington's blacks had higher literacy rates than virtually any other blacks in North Carolina. Matter of fact, smarter than all the whites there also. Which early a quarter of whites were literate. North Carolina, a state in which nearly a quarter of whites were illiterate. Now, for whites, this was an intolerable situation. The planners, lawyers, and merchants who had dominated Wilmington, they were being rebel roused. Trust me. There's other books that allude to this. Wilmington, since its founding in 1739. We know that's a lie, just like they told you the Empire State Building was built in 1 year, and what was it, 1939, 1931, 30, something like that? We built that. And all the other grand buildings that were almost as high as that they brought down and demoed to give y'all that fake-ass, worthless World Trade Center and all them other monkey-ass buildings that ain't nothing but bad sinners with no energy, and that's why y'all run around so deplorable and stuck in your fake ideology of this white supremacy that never existed. And that's not to harm you, because, I love many of you. Y'all mean so much to me, if you only knew. Now, for whites, this was an intolerable situation. The planners, lawyer, and merchants who had dominated Wilmington since its founding in 1739, had lost 1739. Y'all believe that? I knew my great-great-uncles. He says they tell us the great cities we had. Anyway, had lost control of the city during the Civil War and Reconstruction through terror and intimidation by the Night Riders of the Ku Klux Klan created by fucking Jew, a Zionist. I told y'all his name. Go back and find the video. White supremacist who was from Germany. White supremacists had returned to power in the 1870s, and they did not intend to surrender Wilmington again. These babies were taught to be that fucking dumb and ignorant by these worthless Masonic, even the Illuminati, the Vatican, and all those bastards you see now who are packing up because they need to go underground or wherever they're going because they know what's going to happen next, and y'all are too lazy to get it together and pay attention to the little things. And now you got a bunch of dumb, my Spanish brothers running around, El Loco en de Cabasa, like what the, and they can't even get it together because they forgot the father of the face of their fucking father and their mother. Now, the armed men emerging from streetcars on the mild, sunny morning of November 10th, 1898, had heard rumors that black men, had men in response to white gunmen cursing through the streets, were massing at the corner of North 4th and Harnett Street. I've been there, so anyway, Harnett Street. Now, the intersection lay at the heart of a predominantly black neighborhood known as Brooklyn. The white men were inflamed with excitement and eager to fire their weapons. Some had already shot rifles from a streetcar, sending rounds whistling past black homes and small businesses along nearby Castle Street. One of the men carried a .44 caliber U.S. Navy issue rifle, though he was not a member of the city's Naval Reserve. We served in all the militaries because we established them, the guards, that is. Small pocket revolvers, a few of the, you had to lie about the military history and change all that bullshit. A few of the younger men still owned guns and their fathers or uncles had fired during the Civil War. Some veterans called the weapons blueless guns because the dark blue finish had worn off to expose a dull gray color. Now the men moved in columns with their weapons. I mean, you got to go back up to 1939, the beginning of the city, and the fact that we still ruled and police, this, that, and other. So who was fighting who and what was on what side and where were these peckerwoods coming from? That's what you called yourselves, and you called yourselves crackers too, proudly. Right? Where were they coming from? Off the goddamn boats. And because they had been out in the Midwest helping demo and destroy many of our buildings, these babies, working coal mines, the one survivors, and working with our people to learn how to build the railroad tracks, they came back because they were tired of looking at the fact that we control everything. They were nurtured and rebel roused by these Zionists before a Jew even was known to exist, this fake Jew shit. And that's where the problem lays. Yeah, you fought inside the Confederacy. Yes. Oh, yes. This is who, and what happened to my grandpa? Oh, yeah. And this is what them Negroes did. Oh, yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised at the stories. The lies. In order to incite. I mean, think about the Hutus and that shit in Rwanda. That sell out nigga contracted by foreign governments like the CIA and everything, who would have people killing even their loved ones beside them in bed. The Hutu and the Tutsis, the Rwanda genocide. Y'all didn't hear about that knucklehead on the radio? Whatever happened to him? Did y'all look it up? We must go out and kill the cockroaches. Same shit. Different time, different channeling, different spell. Anyway, the men moved in columns with their weapons raised in something approaching a military formation. They swept past clapboard houses and muddy yards in a mixed neighborhood of blacks and whites at the edge of Brooklyn. Wilmington was not yet a uniformly segregated city. In fact, some considered it the most integrated city in the South, with blacks and working class whites, and then they say working class blacks, right? Anyway, living side by side, because even the writers have to rebel rouse, side by side in each of the city's 5 wards, but this was still the South. Some Wilmington neighborhoods were largely black, such as the 5th Ward, and most of Brooklyn are almost purely white, such as the tidy blocks and tree-lined streets near the Cape Fear River, which we allowed y'all to live around our Indian cities, our dwellings, not no fake ass this, that, and other, and taught y'all our ceremonial long huts, long houses, and wigwams. No goddamn teepees. Anyway, excuse me. Group of whites from the mob, around 11 o'clock on November 10th, a group of whites from the mob arrived to find a crowd of black men gathering at North 4th and Harriet Streets, outside a popular drinking spot called Brungy Saloon. Some of the men were known to whites as Sprunt niggers. They worked as stevedores, laborers, and machine operators at the Sprunt Cotton Compress. On the Cape Fear riverfront, they loaded boulder-sized hails of cotton onto merchant ships bound for Europe. Now, the Compress was the largest cotton export firm in the country, providing jobs to nearly 800 black men. Some of the Sprunt workers had abandoned their posts at the Compress after hearing rumors that a white mob was burning black homes in Brooklyn and plotting to butcher blacks at Sprunts. No homes had been burned and no one had been killed, but the Sprunt workers were convinced that their lives and the lives of their wives and children were at risk. They made their way back to Brungy Saloon, where they could see packs of white gunmen descending on the clay streets of the neighborhood. The white men were cursing blacks. The black men bristled and cursed them back. The white men hollered for the blacks to disperse, which only offended and aroused them. A city newspaper reported that the black men were in a bad temper. They stood their ground, anxiously eyeing the growing cluster of armed white men on the opposite corner as the two sides exchanged more curses and taunts. No mellow-made man was slave or fearful of these bastards. And they weren't all from the Carolinas. They were being shipped in by these Zionist fraudulent fucks. On opposite corner, as the two sides exchanged more curses and taunts, one of the white men shouted at the mob's purpose. They were going gunning for niggers, he said. The rising tensions pierced the tranquility of a pleasant fall day, bright and cool with a gentle river breeze. A black man named Norman Lindsay tried to calm his neighbors. He told them that their families were in danger of being burned out and shot dead if they continued to antagonize the white men. For the sake of your life, can you turn it down a little bit, brother? Oh, zip that something. For the sake of your lives, your families, your children, and your country, go home and stay there. I'm as brave as any of you, but we are powerless. And Lindsay told them in a defeated tone, The black men argued with him. They insisted that they had every right as citizens and residents of the neighborhood to gather where they please, particularly with their families under threat from a mob seemingly bent on murder. Aaron Lockamy, a white police officer, decided to offer his services as a mediator. Lockamy did not look or act like a police officer. He was a middle-aged man, deliberative and tentative. Even at age 58, he was not an experienced cop. He had served only on occasional part-time duty before he was deputized earlier that month as a full-time officer in anticipation of trouble during the weeks of the election. Now, Lockamy wore his police badge prominently on his chest that morning, and he had been stationed in Brooklyn to monitor the opening at 8 o'clock of two saloons elsewhere on North 4th Street. He had been instructed by the city's white police chief not to arrest anyone, black or white. He was simply to keep an eye on the saloons. Negotiation was not part of his job, but Lockamy believed he could appeal to the more reasonable men among the two camps in the showdown near the saloon. When Lockamy appeared at the corner of the Harnett and 4th Street, looking hesitant, he was summoned by several white men gathered there. They asked him, not very politely considering that he was a fellow white man, to move the black men off the corner. Lockamy sighed. He walked over to the men. They seemed wary and defensive. They did not appear to be carrying weapons, at least not overly. Lockamy persuaded the black men to move a short distance to the opposite corner of W.A. Walker's grocery store, a frame structure with a low tilted roof that shaded a wooden slat walkway. This provided a slightly better opportunity for them to gauge the intentions of the white mob. The whites responded by moving to a more protected position just down the street from Bungie's saloon. Near the white steeple of St. Matthew's Evangelical Lutheran Church, the black men's new position did not satisfy all the white men. Several of them summoned Officer Lockamy again. They dispatched him once more to try to move the black men again. The blacks, the Negro, and the goddamn original Indians rebuffed him and continued to hold their ground, and Lockamy trudged back to the white man. They demanded to know what the blacks had told them. They told me that I might go to hell or where I please. Lockamy said evenly, as he stated to those white men. They were not going anywhere. They did not need me over there. No how. The white men were through with Lockamy. They told him they would move those Negroes themselves. Lockamy gave up trying to negotiate. He decided to return to his original mission of monitoring the two saloons farther south of North 4th Street. He walked about a block from the crowded corner when he heard a sharp volley of gunfire. 10 blocks away stood the Wilmington Light Infantry Army, a two-story Greek revival building, a pale white marble and pressed brick and that towered over Market Street. Billeted inside were more than 100 well-drilled soldiers who had recently returned from federal duty in the Spanish-American War. The light infantry was part of the state's militia system. It ostensibly reported to the state adjutant general and thus ultimately to North Carolina's governor in Raleigh. But the infantry's effectively served as the private militia of Wilmington's white supremacists, many of them related by blood or marriage. An appointment to the light infantry was a symbol of achievement and social standing. Prospective members had to be approved by current members, ensuring that the light infantry remained a closed club for upper class and middle class whites wedded to white supremacy. Earlier that summer, the city's white merchants worried that the light infantry lacked the firepower to purposely intimidate and control Wilmington's black majority. They raised $1,200 to purchase a Colt rapid-fire gun for the unit. It was a relatively new weapon developed just 9 years earlier under optimum conditions. Now, you know that we built the first one. We invented the damn thing. The air-cooled gun could fire up to 420 rounds in extended bursts without overheating the barrel. Now, a few blocks away, another militia, the Naval Reserve, was also ready and waiting on the morning of November 10th. The reserves, formerly known as the North Carolina Naval Militia, was a more, how you say it, egalitarian unit than the Wilmington Light Infantry, while men from the gentry dominated the naval reserves. Upper ranks, middle class and working class men were permitted to join. Most were from families active in the white supremacy campaign. Like the men of the light infantry, members of the naval reserves had served on federal duty during Spanish-American War aboard the USS Nantucket off South Carolina. They too returned to Wilmington that summer. Now, what's funny about the Spanish-American War and the president at that time, who had us as his personal security, was not the Buffalo Soldiers, the one that brought havoc and murder against a lot of our own, and the so-called Moors of Spain, who kind of look like us, not like the ones there today. Yeah, I'm well versed in this history. That summer, and they too were supposed to report to the governor, but served instead as local white supremacist militias. Now, the Naval Reserves had been supplied with its own rapid-fire gun, a Hotchkiss gun, that could fire 80 to 100 rounds a minute. The gun's bore was 3/4 of an inch. Its effective range was 5 miles. At 3 miles, the steel rounds were said to be able to penetrate a thick steel plate. One of Wilmington's white newspapers called it a very destructive piece of ordnance. Just before midday on November 10th, reports of gunshots at North 4th and Harnett Streets reached the militiamen of the light infantry and the naval reserves. The men began to muster. They readied their weapons, their new rapid-fire guns, and had been mounted on horse-drawn wagons, and the orders came to move out. The soldiers and sailors rushed to Brooklyn, the wagon wheels churning, the men holding onto their hats and clutching their rifles, the animals snorting and panting, the two big guns cocked and ready to fire. And we'll get into Book 1, Days of Hope, Cake and Wine. Why am I reading this to you? Now you know how they went around disembarking, changing the narrative, robbing our governments world over. Such situational awareness became not a secondhand thing because our people were armed and able to fight back. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. A lot of so-called pale-skinned brothers and sisters, on the white supremacist side, they got dead. That's why they had to use this new military they had, because ours had pretty much kind of disbanded. It was a change, and our people laid low and just went to working on their land. No worries. And they had to bring these little Zionist puppets, these little monkeys, these little ones they've given rank and said, this is what we're going to do, with them not even knowing about the truth of this land. Just like right now, the majority don't know the truth of this land, except for the lies. Anyway, we're getting ready to head out. I made it at 58 minutes. I hope that was, hey, Tony P, how's it going? Oh, Mac, what's going on, beloved? What's happening? Tony P, got you. All right, I was reading Marcus, what's cracking? Jay Shaw, ML, what's happening? What's going on? How y'all doing? Millennial, what's up, mama? And Sharon, I got you right, yeah. Can't wait to get you over here so you can check it out, get you a round trip ticket. It's good to have y'all up in here. What was that? Let me see. Good afternoon. It's good to have y'all up in here. I said I wouldn't check the donations until later until later. So I'll check them later if y'all donated. And I'll shout everybody out because we're going to go out, enjoy ourselves a little bit, and then I'll come back and we're going to read again, okay? I want to read some more of this to y'all because it's very important to you know that this is our land. They made war against our people. It was a betrayal, a big betrayal. There's more information. This is a fabulous, magnificent read. And I'm wondering if I should go ahead and order the book with the, they gave, when you buy something, they put it where you could just use it whenever you want to use it. Anyway, maybe I'll order it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I have the PDF. You dig what I'm saying? And it's very important. Y'all know I did a post. I did it in the community. I showed you the man who made the first machine gun, what they want to call Gatling, which they call machine guns. It's funny ass terms. They always making up stuff. You see how they're doing it right now. The assault rifle, the AR doesn't mean, it means armor light. These people are dumb. But anyway, I just want y'all to know this. It's a great read. It's written by, did I tell you it was written by Excuse me. Ready to get out here and get something to eat, y'all. I ain't lying. I am not lying. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. I'm going to the shop, my Amazon thing. I just pulled the, you know what? I can't turn it off. Thank you. God dog, man. I don't want you either. So anyways, Dave Zucchino, okay? Writer, a winner of the Pulitzer Prize. So Dave Zucchino. You can look him up yourself if it's important. David Zucchino. All right? Here, I'll show it again. Woman's Lie, the murder's coup. I always say just to be able to see it. Okay? Again, Wilmington's Lie. The murderous coup. Their coup d'etat of 1898 and the rise of white supremacy. A foreign narrative, distraction, because our people didn't know nothing about none of that shit. I hope y'all appreciate the read. I hope you share it. That thing is bright yellow, boy. It's a beautiful hornet. Anyway, I appreciate y'all, and we're gonna get out of here. I'm ready. You getting ready to get out? I'm ready to get out of here, man. Go get something. So see you guys later. It's nothing but appreciation, my beloved sisters and brothers. Y'all know I don't believe in all that white and black shit. I don't believe in that brown and red and all that other yellow, goofy, new age shit. But I guess people, when they conquer land and they subjugate the people and they change them so they look a little different, they don't have to accept the truth of who they really come from. Like I said, I done put up showing you brothers and sisters all around the world and all the so-called New Asias and all this other shit with afros, Hindu, everything. You can't get rid of a true bloodline of the true Semitic people. You can't sit there and corner them off, make bastardized babies, and think you could go and make them part of the new world. Some would sit there, and I think they've taught these bastards lies, saying that, oh, we are new. They sent us here first. They didn't send us nowhere first. We've always been here. We've survived many times. This time's going to be a little different. Like I said, I have a story to tell, and I know how it ends. I don't give a fuck what they do, how they feel, who's emotional or who's emotional not. It's never going to change the fact that I know how it fucking ends. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. You can sit there. They can still fumble around and hide and keep things down. You don't want that getting it. It's not going to stop a damn thing. That's why I tell y'all they're stupid. All right? So next time, stay straight. You're already dangerous. That's why they're so scared of you. Anyway, appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to old fogey like me. Don't go out there jumping on people and messing. If you got young ones who's out there making a fool of themselves, I can tell them how it's going to end for them. Have them come and sit down. Maybe I'll spill a little tea. All right? See you guys later.